What's like the backstory in, because you could have done probably anything, right? So you've chosen this as your path. You've chosen business and the startup world in particular as your path. And as you said, you're very good at it. I can give testament to that because obviously we're working together, and I'm also involved with the meetups and stuff, which are amazing. And I'm very happy to be part of the hosting team. So yeah, like talk just a little bit more about like the backstory and how you got into what you do.
Yeah, man. So yeah, firstly, thank you for being part of it because we couldn't do this stuff if people like you didn't exist. We got to a point where I'll get to that point actually in a second. But yeah, the event started because I was running another business before. I was running a marketing agency before with a business partner, and I was going to networking events. It was my job to go and win the business and talk to other people and build networks and relationships. And I was pretty good at it, but I would turn up to events and people would be 10, 20, 30 years my senior, talking about houses, kids, retirement. And I didn't know what any of those things are. I still don't know what those things are. And wanted to create a space where people were just culturally similar to me, generally from a generational point of view, or at least from an attitudes point of view. And I did. And I set up a meetup in a bar in Bristol. In the UK, just for those who might be international and listening. And yeah, and it was great. Like five, six people turned up. It wasn't huge, but we all kind of shared a beer, shared some woes, and talked about the things that were great and not so great about the day, the week, the year, the job in itself. And we all really enjoyed it. And they asked when the next one was. And the really long story short is that I just said next month, and we've run them ever since. And then people came from everywhere else, and someone came from Bath, which isn't too far away, and said, "Hey, this is kind of annoying to come to on the train. Can you run one there?" And I said yes. And then I kept saying yes. And after a while, the point I was going to get back to was I was up and down the motorway um, to Bristol, Bath, Birmingham, Cardiff, London, and Manchester every single month, completely free because these events are always free and they will always be free to ensure they're accessible, unable to therefore afford to stay over and therefore driving back every night. And Manchester's three-ish, 3.5 hours drive from Bristol. So coming back and getting home at 1 a.m. to get up and do some stuff again, all because of something. And it wasn't money because it wasn't making us any. So that's kind of the origin story. And then you get certain distance into that and you realize, one, you can't go to every single event. So you need to find really passionate, really connected and interested people locally in their own towns and cities to run those events, people like you, so that we can have those happen without me needing to be there, and often better than the events I run because you guys know your cities and towns better than I do. And then, yeah, the other thing that happened is that people started to ask what they could buy. He said, "Hey, this free thing is great. Like, what do you sell? How does this keep running?" And the answer was, well, nothing at that time. So we came up with this paid community. People would join it, and we've been iterating it ever since. There have been times where it's been amazing, times where it's been dead. I think if any community manager told you it was always amazing, they'd be lying. So we've been through peaks and troughs and ebbs and flows, but moving into a new phase now, and excited to see where it goes. But yeah, that's kind of the origin story and brings you, I guess, up to date.